Down the Shed!
Welcome to Down the Shed with me, Jason. So in this video we're going to be making this car alarm simulator, a Vellelman MK126. As per normal, the instructional card comes with simple but easy to understand guideline or instructions. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through of what we got in this little strip here. I'll go through the other parts and we'll crack on. So we have 5 yellow, purple, red 4K7 4700 ohm resistors. We have one 47K, 47K, sorry, yellow, purple, orange. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like we have 7 brown, black, yellow 100K resistors. We have a 2K2 2200 ohm red, and a 470 yellow, purple, brown. We have 3 1N4007 diodes. We have a 6V2 Zener, an IC socket, a 100 UF capacitor, a 1 UF capacitor. Give you a quick shot of that lot. A 10400 NF capacitor, a 2K2 variable resistor, 2 terminal blocks, and an IC. We also have this LED, which was red, and you guessed it, I've changed it to blue. So without much, oh, and some shrink tube for the LED. So I have decided to change the board. I'm not going to use the second rising clamp for the LED. I'm going to use that plug in, plug out clamp. So let's crack on and get this board populated. Let's move you a bit into shot. There we go. Too much light. And we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so for those of you who don't yet know, my component tray is actually the packaging from an old projector. Not an old projector, but it's old packaging from a projector I bought. It was 65 quid on Amazon. Absolutely cracking bit of kit. This came, I can't remember what it was in, but this little bit of foam, as you can see, makes a brilliant little component holder. So I've laid them all out in the order I'm going to need them. Resistors, diodes. We'll come to the rest afterwards. So let's get these on the board. Okay, so that's the yellow, purple, red 4K7s. We've got R1, R2, R3, R4 and R13. R5, which is a yellow, purple, orange, a 47K. We have 6, 7 and 8, which are brown, black, yellow, 100K. R9, was that? No, sorry. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they're all 100K. R14, red, 2K2. And R15 is a yellow, purple, brown, 470. And there's only one slot left for an R, which is there. So we'll get that little puppy in. I'll get these blue tacky down and get them soldered in. Now, masking tape does work and it works quite well, but I find the best way to do it is blue tack. And if you get any itty bitty bits of blue tack left to the components, give them 60 seconds, let them cool down. Let's get you back in the shot. Give them 60 seconds, let them cool down, dab them with a piece of cool blue tack, and trust me, you will have no blue tack left. No matter what you're using, blue tack, posters on the wall, there's a bit of blue tack stuck on the wall, rub it with another piece of blue tack. Trust me, it will go away. Right, that's normal. I'll do a couple of pins. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole lot. I'm using the mill solder because there's nothing really intricate here. Certainly no need to waste the smaller stuff, although it does seem to melt better than this larger stuff. Mind you, this larger stuff was what came with the soldering iron station, so I don't know about the quality of it, but the stuff I get on Amazon, the 0.6 and 0.8 mil, I'll have to get 0.4 for SMD parts. But yeah, this Amazon solder that I use is absolutely terrific. Can't get in here. There we go. So let's pause you there a minute. Right, that's all the resistors in. The reason why I paused the video for the soldering, apart from the save wasting your time, is I like to run this little fan. I think it was an Audi. But it just sits there and keeps the fumes down. Right, as you can see, the blue tack's made a slight mess of the board. Watch. And that is literally blue tack cleaned up. It is that simple and it's that good. It just sticks to itself like anything. So we've got D1, grey band on the diode, white band on the silk screen. D2, grey band on the diode, white band on the silk screen. D3, grey band on the diode, white shaded area on the silk screen, or the band on the silk screen. They are absolutely crucial you get those the right way round. They are dependent on the correct fitment. 6V2 Zener diode, again, black band on the diode, white band on the silk screen. Absolutely crucial you get that the right way round. Okay guys, so there's the board soldered up. Let's put some light on it. There's the board soldered up. And let's get that blue tack off. And clean. So we've got the resistors all in. We've got the three, I think they're Schottky diodes, and the Zener diode are all in. I've got a horse I've got to go and put back into his little paddock overnight. Otherwise he gets fat on grass, because horses do most of their eating overnight and most of their sleeping during the day. The reason for that is it's cooler at night, so it's easier to graze for them. So it'll be like that for you, but it's going to be an hour for me. Okay, welcome back. Let's get the IC holder in. Remembering there's a notch on the end of the IC board, and there's a little like goalpost on the silk screen. The notch goes with the goalpost, so when you go to put the chip in, you know which way round it goes, because there's only one right way. So we'll plop that on. Put a little bit on the other side. Well, I say a little bit, it's an entire bloody blob, but never mind. So I suggest soldering at two opposite corners just to hold the, even though it's blue tack, just to secure it into place. Plus, by doing opposite corners like this, you're distributing the heat better in the part, so you're not getting it too hot in one place too quickly. Capacitors, C1 is 100 UF, 25 volt. Long leg, short leg, and the grey band. I'll say this on every video. The grey band is the negative, as it says on there. So the long leg, obviously in the plus. Some boards will actually put a hash marking or grey marking on the actual board, just to denote the minus. That's going to sit in place, so let's just pop that in quick. And we'll snip those in a moment. The C2 is a 1 UF at 50 volt. So C2, long leg into the plus. That one's not going to stay on its own. Blue tacky. You don't really have to worry too much about them being straight. You can always just bend them afterwards, like so. So let's pop that one in. I'm going to let you see. I'm keeping the fan off, so I'll suffer with the fumes. Not that there's a lot of it at the moment. Right, let's get those snipped. Next we have a 104-100 NF capacitor, C3PO. Master Luke. Where is C3PO? Okay, so that's right on the edge of the board here. I should be okay. There we go. A little blob of blue tacky. Hold that against that. That'll be fine. I'm going to have to turn this. Are we still in shot? We appear to be. I'll just check these at the end just to make sure the solder joints are good, considering how close they are to the edge of that PCB holder. There we go. Resistor trimmer, or a variable resistor. It's a 2K2 brackets 2K5. So that wants to go in that way. Well, I thought it would have. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to blob blue tack on that, just to hold it up straight. Let's bring you back round how you were. Well, this one's a bit fumy. Let's see what the other solder smoke's like. This is the one I get off Amazon. This is the point, I think it's 0.8 actually. So much better solder, to be fair. So that's the trimmer, which we need to adjust later. Give that a bit of a dab. Terminal block. Well, as I said, I'm only fitting one because I'm modifying the board. So that actually wants to go on when the board's out of the holder. Actually, it wants to come out of the holder because that's all it's left. So that's 12 volt DC. So we'll plug that in there like that. That's just. I'm going to pause you for a sec. Okay, so that's blue tacked in. See, the thin stuff's good for SMD, but it doesn't really bung it in now on these bigger circuits when you want it to. Reflow that. Reflow that. So that's it pretty much, apart from one item. So as I said, I'm actually going to put the LED onto a terminal block like this. Now I really think I should. Let's see if it will hold first. If not, we'll I'll tell you what, let's do it properly. Okay, so the other terminal block is now in. I'm going to abandon my original idea. So you don't get a lot of flex with these, and it wants you to wire into a 12 volt somewhere. So the easiest way would be to mount this into a little box near the car battery and then run the LED through to the dash. So what I'm going to propose doing, seeing as all three of our cars, the missus's and my two, have already got plenty of flashing LEDs in them. Mine's got a seriously good alarm in there. Hers is a Toyota, and my other one is a Mini. So they've all got their own alarm LEDs, but speaker cable is what I'm going to run the LED on, because basically speaker cable is small enough to handle the current required from an LED. I mean, it's nothing. So that technically is the finished board. All I've got to do now is run power and the LED. So let's get the LED wired up. Let's get you into shot. So yeah, that's the finished board. So I'm actually going to strip using these Halfords. Let's zoom back out a minute. These Halfords wire strippers. They're actually pretty good. They're not a bad bit of kit actually. Cost about, I think they were a £5. So I am going to tin these leads. Let's bring the solder station and its helping hands over. Is that in shot? Yeah, it's in shot. So we'll just bung that in there for a second. Oh, I can smell melting plastic. So that's good enough for them. So let's get the other end done. What I'm going to do is take this over to the car, because it needs the car engine to actually do its thing. Basically, I think what happens is the circuit recognises when the engine's off and there's a nominal voltage, and then when the engine started, obviously the alternator kicks extra voltage in. It recognises that extra voltage and stops the circuit. It's a bit like some day running lights I had from Halfords. They just wired straight into the 12-volt battery, and as soon as you put the engine on, it recognised the extra voltage and fired up the lights, and they also dimmed out for side lights so you weren't blinding everyone at night. But yeah, as soon as the engine went off, about 10-20 seconds later, they were just shut down. 60 quid, but yeah, they were brilliant. I don't know what I did with them actually. Okay, so I'm going to put the wiring in for the 12 volt. Literally, oh, rising clamp blocks, just screw them down. Not over tight, otherwise you just ruin the block. See if we can get on enough of that. So that's the power side. So what I'm going to do now is literally going to use a short amount of right, one moment. Okay, so I've given myself a generous length of speaker cable. I'm just going to tin these wires up on here. In fact, I might even shorten these a touch. So the positive is the long leg nearest me. I've already established that. Just to there you go. Button cell battery, 2032. So the plus is now on my left. Double check. Yep. So let's get right, what we got on here. So speaker cable gives you a black stripe on one side, so we'll denote that as negative. I haven't tinned these, So the plus is away from me. Let's try and get some solder on here. There we go. Nicely. So we'll just double check. Okay, so drop it. Plus is towards me. Now it's to my left. No, it's not, it's towards me. Right, so I've got the plus on the left, so the black stripe will go to the right. Right, that's one on. Oh, okay, we'll desolder that a minute. So just remember that you've got some shrink tube here. So cut the shrink tube. This ain't going well, is it? Right, I'm only going to shrink tube the positive side because negative don't really matter. It's negative. It ain't going to short out on anything. Let's get some more tin on this. Right, this is a heat-proof mat, so trying to keep the shrink tube away from the heat. So the positive. Okay, so slide the shrink tube up. Just give that a little bit of warmth off the iron. It's actually good for fishing tackle shrink tube, making rigs for when you're ledgering. Just a bit of a tip there. Right, so we'll get this one on. Actually, I want to cut that back a bit. Actually, I want that back. You could put a little bit of black tape around it, but as I said, to be fair, as long as that positive side's good. Oh, dog, you got caught up in my leads. So let's give that a quick test. So the black should be minus. There we go. And one LED. So the rest of this test is going to have to happen over by my car because we need the engine running for the circuit to deactivate and turn off to reactivate. So the instructions say this is complete now. This is all wired up. It's not plugged into anything yet, but we hook the circuit up to the vehicle's electrical system. What's that star mean? There's a star on here. I don't know what it means. Adjust RV1 until the LED flashes when the engine is not running. Start the engine. The LED should turn off. If not, adjust RV1 slightly. Repeat procedure. So basically we have to trim the variable resistor to get it flashing when the engine's off, and then it should turn off with the engine. If not, we have to just keep adjusting slightly. So let's go and play. So the engine's off, and you should see just here the blue light flashing. We'll fire the engine up. But wait, it's still flashing. It was perfectly adjusted when it arrived, so I've had to de-adjust it so you can see what you might have to do with yours. So the variable resistor here, well, I've turned it a short amount so I know roughly where it's supposed to go. There you go, there was one. The engine's dropping. So we'll adjust it a wee bit more. Right, there you go. No flash. So we had it just off the cusp where it needs to recognise the increased voltage from the alternator into the battery. So shut her down and instantly she's back in place. So fire the engine up again just to show that it wouldn't have flew. And there you go, hang on, it sometimes does double. There you go. Stop flashing. So that's the Vellelman MK126, I think it was. Fake car alarm simulator. I've changed the red LED for the blue because I just prefer it. It's bright, ultra bright 5mm LED as opposed to the all red 5mm LED. Working as it should. Click and subscribe, like and subscribe. By me, that's my Japanese import Pajero, which is Shogun in England, and that's Twiggy. Okay, so far I've actually gone through one entire stick of resin, one of these pound shop jobbies, bombed together two-part epoxy resin. It looks like I'll have to use the other one as well, but I'm probably just going to cover the tops of the rising clamps, stop any rust getting in, and then just finish covering the circuit board. I don't think the top of the capacitors really matter. I am going to cover the variable resistor. It should be set right, so if it's wrong, it's wrong, and job's not a good one, so we'll see. Okay, so there we are, almost full of resin. I think I might have to nip back to the pound shop at some point just to get another one, top it up. But the rising blocks have been glued in. That's glued in. It's just literally the top of the trimmer and the two capacitors that's now sticking over. So that is really hot as well. The chemical reaction is kicking off. So we'll let that set. As far as the installation goes, quiet daisy. We've removed the older LED block that was the alarm immobilizer, and I've screwed that up. I've knackered the power to the flash on the LED, so we'll just bin that and we'll go with the fake LED situated there. So two little screw holes, but there's not a lot I can do about that. But it does look a bit cleaner, so let's get the under bonnet install done. Well, we've got the alarm unit, which we've already soaked in resin, and you can just about see some of the circuitry in there. So that's waterproof. It's got double-sided tape on the back, so we'll mount that somewhere up here. We've got the electrics and everything up here we can go off. I've got the cables for the LED over there, so we just have to wire that up. So I'm going to wire this in about here, and that is where she'll live from now on. That's firmly attached already. I told you this Poundland hard as nails masking tape, double-sided tape is absolutely awesome. So we'll route that up into here, and this will sort out over here in a minute. So let's move the camera. Cable comes into the throttle linkage there. runs along those brake pipes, around the bulkhead, and it comes out here next to our box. So we'll shorten those down, wire that in. Let's try and get the camera sat somewhere stable. That'll do. So we'll cut and shut that. Right, well I've cut this wire short, but not too short. So I've still got a bit of play in there. I'm not going to solder them because the soldering iron's indoors. So what we'll do is we'll strip them together and use heat shrink. So polarity shouldn't have changed. Black stripe, black stripe. It's the heat gun. Get the smallest one. I reckon we'll use a piece on it. Cut half. So heat shrink on one of the ends. Right, so that's the black stripe, which matches to that one. Twist those together nicely. Slide the heat shrink back over if you can, like that. Does that well? There we go. She's a whistling captain. Oh, I did that one a bit short. That's negative anyway, so it doesn't matter. Always throw a bit of tape on there. We didn't put the heat shrink on. Should have gone with the long bit like I was going to. Twist them together just slightly off so they spin round. I might just nip that off a bit actually. That's the positive ones. We want a better shrink. There we go. That'll do nicely. Ouch! That was hot. Yep, that's working. There we go. Get that back on. Put that somewhere safe. So that's our LED wired in. We'll just cable tie that in as well. So we should be able to just prop these off the terminals for the minute. Just so we get a connection. Let me check. And there we have it. That's our fake LED Vellelman kit wired in. So I've loosened off the negative terminal. I've fed the negative in around this bolt and this terminal where it meets up when it tightens on. So we'll nip that puppy back up. Finish up, we've got the positive connected to the battery there. We have the negative connected to this battery there. And the Vellelman fake car alarm LED in a lovely yellow, flashing away there. And as soon as we start the engine, it'll give a few flashes, recognise the voltage change.